Hello, this is Sandy. Today we're going to make a Tua New Zealand surf clams with spaghetti. So it's, I guess, similar to a vongole with pasta, but we're using much bigger clams. So you should receive a box like this with all the ingredients that you need and the recipe card, which you can refer to later. Let's see what we have in the box. So we have our homemade stock. This stock is a seafood with chicken stock together, which we make ourselves in our kitchen. It takes about half a day to do. In it already, we added garlic oil and as well as these little pieces here. These are wild fennel pollen. They add a little kick to the dish. These are actually dry chili flakes. And you have the pre-cut parsley, butter, which you need to emulsify, pasta. These are dry linguine that we're using today. This is probably very different than what you can get in the shops. This is made for restaurant by artisan, I guess, pasta house. You see actually when you, for good pasta, when you hold it or touch it, you'll feel it's very grainy, very rough. This is actually very good because it can actually take a lot more stock in. Also, when you actually try to coat the pasta with the stock and the sauce, it will hang a lot better. And these are the stars of our dish. So these are New Zealand surf clams. They're called tua. They're similar to the ones that you get in Japanese sushi restaurant, the arc-shell, I guess, clams with the pink tips. They're all white because they're from New Zealand, but those are the cousins. And these are especially very good and tasty because they're big. Usually bigger clams, you'll find that the meat to shell ratio is not good. What does that mean? Is the shell gets all of the weight and the meat is tiny. So that's quite frustrating when you're eating clams. So we'll use these, and these have been sitting in our depuration tank for overnight to have it all cleaned out. And everything that live seafood that we put into our depuration tank would become sashimi grade when it's finished with depuration. Oh, and here, a little bit of white wine. So we can start cooking. The first step to do is to actually grab these linguine, dry pasta, and we're a big pot of hot water, and we will boil it. Now, normally with all the pasta dishes, I always say you just put into the hot water to soften it. But because these linguine will take about probably up to 15 minutes to cook through, so we will still do it risotto style, but we will boil it for about 8 minutes first. Okay, so now it's about 8 minutes. So we put it into, this is par cooked now, not completely cooked through. So we'll just put it on the side and turn off the heat and leave it like that. And while we cook the clams. So in the other pan, we turn it on and we start to add the garlic and shallots and the chili flakes. There's already oil with the garlic, the chopped garlic and the shallot, so you don't really need to add extra oil. The point here is actually to cook the garlic and the shallot to release the flavor, but you don't need to brown it. So we're not trying to get it all golden. So once the oil starts, you see starts the bubbling, and you start to smell the fragrance of the garlic and the shallots coming out, then you can get ready the clams and put it in. The clam will start to release a little bit of its juice immediately as it hits. And because the clam's been depurated in our tank, so it's sashimi grade, again, we actually like to undercook it a little bit. Otherwise, the clams get a bit tough and chewy. So you have add the white wine, and you can turn down the flame a little bit and get the stock. And you add all of the stock in, everything in there. And let it cook. The clams will let you know when they're cooked. You hear a little pop and it opens like that. And we can put it back on the plate. All done. So now you add the pasta directly in here. because the pasta is not actually completely cooked. So now we're going to finish up the last few minutes of the cooking in the actual stock. Now you can pick up a piece and taste it. Just slightly undercooked to be al dente. So I think there should be enough stock in here to finish off the cooking. And I like to keep it at high heat also because it reduces the stock faster to the point where it's ready for it to be the sauce. And if you think it's drying up too much, then you can add a little bit of the hot water that you have, that you cook the pasta in. Now I think it's ready. Then you can turn it down a little bit while you add the parsley and the butter. The butter helps to emulsify the sauce. Let it melt and you'll start to see the sauce coming together and thicken up, and we're ready. So you can turn it off and you can put the clams back in, pour around a little bit, and you can plate.